I know unequivocally who won last night's debate. And there was a winner. There was one person who was victorious. You know, they always say this about debates. Somebody's got to shine. Somebody's got to soar. Somebody's got to really knock it out of the park. Well, for the first time in my career, I can unequivocally, enthusiastically, and confidently tell you that there was indeed one such candidate last night, and it was this guy.
But it was the men and women who got, every single day, they got up and came back home with grease on their hands, and they were the ones that paid the price. They paid a big, big price. The only time Joe Biden has ever gotten his hands dirty is when he's taking cash from foreign countries, which is quite often, actually. It's quite often.
Yep, that's the winner. No question about it. Everybody's reluctantly agreeing. Doesn't it feel like we're sort of just going through the motions now? And I know you're going to call me and yell at me, and you're going to be mad at me because, oh, you're just a Trumper, you're a Trumpist, you're MAGA, you're just a delusional Trump supporter. Did you see that mess last night? Did you see those petulant, arguing folks on that stage and the horrible moderators and the terrible execution of one of the worst debates in television history? I am thinking about going back to before I was born with the Kennedy-Nixon debate, the famous debate that Nixon won on radio, but Kennedy won on television, because he was the one guy on that debate stage in 1960, I guess, who was smart enough to have somebody put some makeup on. And Nixon didn't look good. He looked bad, but he sounded great on radio. To people who just heard it, I mean, I just think about the great historic debates of our time, the moments of clarity when somebody said, gosh, that's my guy, where the viewers said, this was a moment. Well, the only moment last night was like Don Rickles over at Chuckles Comedy Club in Poughkeepsie. Chris Christie making an absolute fool of himself. Can you imagine thinking that calling Donald Trump Donald Duck because he ducked the debate last night? Can you imagine thinking that's a good idea? I mean, I don't even want to play the clip. I was going to play the clip. I don't even want to play it. Plus, Fox has given us all these restrictions on how much, because we don't want to put too much of that television gold over our airwaves. So we're going to absolutely adhere to their limitations and their restrictions on how much of the debate we're allowed to air on our network. So don't worry. I don't want to waste the good stuff. What would the good stuff be? I'm talking to my team today, and I'm like, well, what in the world do you want to play? You want to play Nikki Haley turning into the Wicked Witch of the West? What's with her? Insulting Vivek Ramaswamy? Every time I hear you, I feel I'm dumber? What? And frankly, Governor DeSantis did fine. He seemed to be sort of upstaged by all the arguing between Vivek and Tim Scott. And what's with Tim Scott and Nikki Haley both hating on Vivek? Was there something about South Carolinians that don't like this guy? The two South Carolina candidates just turned on Vivek Tim Scott, he's supposed to be this optimistic, friendly, upbeat guy with the Reagan-esque smile. Man, he turned on to, last time we were up here, you said we were bought and paid for. It's like Tim Scott was up there seething for all these weeks and wanted to get back at Vivek last night. And Vivek wasn't much better. I mean, he's arguing with everybody. What a mess. If you didn't watch the debate, you didn't miss a thing.